We're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another show, another edition, no, another segment of the quarantine edition of the Better Things to Do podcast. It is your boy, Jay Z Prods. You got Baby Yoda at King underscore Yuli. And then my boy, No Soul Double underscore, aka Sour Cream Not Enthusiast. We're gonna roll the intro
The
and then we're
most
gonna get into it. All right. So let's carry the conversation over. Before we began recording, we were talking about like food. It all started with Noah saying that he didn't like sour cream, and then I was like, wait, how do you not like sour cream? Because I love sour cream. I put sour cream on a lot of things that you shouldn't. Um, and then it just carried over of kind of like,
Why is the question not that?
huh?
Why is the question why do you put sour cream on everything?
Well, okay.
Why am I the one being interrogated?
Let me go back and like specify what are the things that I put like sour cream on. It would be like mulitas, like tacos dorados. Sometimes my mother-in-law would make like chile chicken and salsa verde, and then we will have like the pollo, rice and beans, and then I'll put sour cream and then like a flour tortilla, and I kind of just like I kind of do like a tour de France on the plate, and I just kind of grab a little bit of everything with and ended up with the sour cream, and then just eat it like that. Um, like enmoladas, as I was saying, enchiladas, chilaquiles, like all that stuff, like sour cream. I think some people even put sour cream on their pozole or their menudo.
Think we're reaching now.
That I will agree that it's reaching, but like I don't know. I feel like sour cream is pretty like versatile, like as a uh, sauce condiment, um, add on. Um, so I don't know. I think you're the first person that I hear that doesn't like sour cream, which is why it caught my attention.
I have a feeling that it's just a lot of the zesty, tangy flavors I'm not a fan of.
Is there
Because
like
I'm a fan of sour, but not like even ranch. I wasn't initially a fan of,
hmm, interesting.
but it was just one of those things where I forced myself to eat it because
Hmm.
my whole family would like say we got like burgers, they would get like onion rings or fried zucchinis.
Yeah.
Y se me antojaban. But if you've ever eaten fried zucchinis, it's nothing. It's fried nothing. It doesn't
Yeah.
have any
It's
flavor.
fried
It's
water.
just fried. Yeah, that's it. So
Yeah.
to really appreciate it, you need to have the ranch.
Or a little bit of
So it
Dazzle
was just
Island.
one of those things. That too.
Hmm.
Um, it was just one of those like I just kind of like forced myself to like it,
Yeah.
but I had reason to like that. I have no reason to like sour cream.
So is it that you don't like it at all, or is there like certain brands that you can eat at all? Okay.
At all.
And then what about like crema mexicana?
That one's fine because it doesn't. For me, I don't get the same flavor,
Hmm.
and I think it's because crema. I don't get that sour.
Yeah.
It's more cream.
It's like it's just cream.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
sour
more
cream.
leche.
It tastes like cheese
So
pudding.
crema, crema is cool. Crema I'm fine with.
Yeah.
It's the sour cream that I'm not a fan of.
Now crema con sal o sin sal.
Don't matter. Either one.
Okay, because sometimes I think the one with con sal can be a bit much. It's like too like I feel like I'm biting into like Himalayan salt, like those little like pebbles. It feels like I'm biting into that. Sometimes it's too much.
I must have always had the sin sal one because I've never. The thing is, I don't get a whole. I don't feel it. I don't taste a whole lot of the crema,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't assault my palate.
Mm.
So I've never bothered with it. So I have.
I didn't even know that
I'm
was a
not. It's
thing.
not like I need crema,
I want.
but if
crema.
it's there, I don't mind it.
Got it. And then we also said that you don't like onions, raw onions
Raw
specifically. Yeah, raw onions.
Yes.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah.
it's the same. It's the same idea. It's that tangy, zesty flavor. I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, like if
Even something like Cool Ranch Doritos, like it takes me like 2 or 3 chips before my palate can get acclimated.
really,
That initial one kind of grosses me out,
huh?
but
Okay.
it takes like 2 or 3 chips for me to be like, okay, no, I understand what I'm eating. But yeah, I think I'm just generally not a fan of like sour cream, raw onions, vinegar, whatever that palate is. I'm not a fan of
I wonder what that is. Let me see. Um, how would you look that
because
up?
they all feel like they're in a similar family, and I'm not about it.
Just look up the different
'Cause
type of flavors.
Let me see. I'm just gonna look
Salty,
taste palettes.
there's sour, there's spicy, there's sweet, there's like bland, there's like that zesty. What else? Dana, is that no? Like six? I counted six.
Bitter, sour, salty, sweet.
Oh, bitter. Yeah, okay, so it's in the bitter slash sour. That's I think where you put it in the middle.
Uh,
I don't know if I get sour out of it
If it makes you
because
go
I'm a
like,
fan of Warhead.
I think that's
It
sour.
doesn't. It doesn't. It makes me go. That's, I can eat a lemon. It's not. And lemons aren't a problem. So it's not. It's not the sour that I don't like.
Crazy.
Whatever family of flavor that is, I'm not a fan of.
Because I don't think sour, like if you eat a lemon, it's not the sour taste like makes you go. It's like the actual like reaction that makes you go. So I think
What does that mean?
you know how whatever like that sour like a lemon, whatever the sour thing makes you do, like whatever makes you like shrivel up. I feel like that's not like a taste that's doing that. I think it's like an actual like reaction in your mouth.
so
You get me?
there's a fifth flavor.
No?
What do
What's the
you mean
fifth
by
one?
what kind of what reaction? Chemical, muscle, like what
It
reaction?
might it might be a chemical one that makes your muscles react.
I why did I know you were gonna say something like that? You were just gonna
Because
take all the
that's
answers I gave you.
because you explained it exactly how I see it. It has to be a chemical reaction in your mouth that makes your muscles like react. Because something can taste sour, right? The actual taste, there could be different tastes, but the lemon, like it does something. So like a pepper, tastes a certain way, but the spicy makes you like, it makes it hot. It makes your mouth water or like, right? That same thing happens with sour. Sour, like you could taste the flavor, but then there's an actual like reaction that happens like bitter and salty. I don't know. Well, I guess bitter could, that's where you could get the reaction, like it makes you want to throw up. Salty, maybe it makes you feel good, and you're just like makes you salivate, makes you thirsty, makes you want water. Like, but give me a science degree. Does the thing freeze? Hello? Is
I,
anyone there?
I don't think Noah is having any of that.
Dude,
Dude, if you
there's
were a
like no.
professor, I would immediately ask for my money back.
I explained it
I
the
don't.
easiest
You know what?
way possible, dude.
No, it's the thing is you're so conceptual that I'm not a conceptual man. I need algorithms and equations, and you're giving me concepts, and I'm just not about it. You're giving me philosophies, and I don't buy it.
And this is you right now. I need you to wake up, use your mind more.
I'm awake. I just don't understand your answers. You give me the scenic route. I'm just give me like your answer in 4 words or something. Like, give me a tweet. Tweet it out.
240 characters go.
Yes.
Wait, what was the other flavor? You said that
Oh,
there's a fifth one.
there's 5 flavors: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami.
Oh, I know what that is.
What's that?
Uh, like the umami burgers. It's like a.
Give me a
It's
place.
kind of like.
Give me a definition and place of origin.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could give you that, but it's like umami. Like from what I've heard, it's kind of like mixed with spicy, and it's kind of mixed with bitter. Am I close?
No,
No.
no.
Is it
So,
spicy? Like horseradish?
umami is described as savory or meaty. It's a Japanese word that comes. That umami means good flavor in Japanese. Um, and it says it's the most recently identified and accepted of the basic tastes, and it was accepted in the 20th century. Um, so this taste is identified to
I've been exposed.
asparagus, tomatoes, cheese, and meat.
Ooh,
No.
I could, I could see how that makes sense.
Yeah, like I like all 4 of those things: asparagus, tomato, cheese, and meat.
Because like those don't taste like anything. So I could see why they would like give it a whole new like flavor.
Can you
Because it
can
doesn't taste like nothing, but
Can
it's
you
still there's still obviously a taste.
can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I was gonna ask that.
Because I hate to be the skeptic in the group, but I don't know what any of what you just said means.
Dude, did you not go to school? I need you
Did you?
to I need you to
You said
start using your head more, dude.
you just said it tastes like nothing, so I can see nothing, and I'm like, have you ever tasted cheese? Cheese doesn't taste like nothing.
Yes, it does. It's salty.
But you're saying umami tastes like nothing, and cheese is
Cause
part of that. So how do you correlate cheese with umami with tasting like nothing?
oh wait, cheese was part of unami.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Because I could see meat, right? Like meat, there's no flavor, so that's why you have to salt it or put seasoning on it.
It's 4 things: asparagus, tomatoes, cheese, and meat.
Asparagus, cheese. Okay, so then meat, right? There is no really a taste. It doesn't give you the spicy. It doesn't give you the salty. That's why we have to put seasoning on it. Like if you eat it by itself, it doesn't have like a one of the flavors we could categorize it. Same with tomatoes. Like tomatoes, when you eat it, it just tastes like bland. So I could see why they would just give that bland flavor a whole new like category.
So then, what about cheese?
The cheese part, that one I probably wouldn't agree with because cheese tastes salty. It might be how you cheese it up, like how there's cheddar cheese and like different types of cheeses taste different. So cheese, that one's hard. So I don't know how why would they or
You
how
see,
would they categorize cheese as unami.
I just looked up: is there cheese without flavor? Let me see.
Like what's the most bland cheese? I feel like it would be like queso fresco, no? Or like mozzarella.
Um, so I looked up most bland cheese, and it gives me feta, brie,
Feta.
brie,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Brie.
oh, it's brie, brie,
Brie.
cream cheese, mozzarella. I cannot pronounce this. Um, paneer and cottage cheese.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
not very those aren't bland.
I feel like they all got their own little like tank to them.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why they would put cheese on that unami unless like regular, just like when you first curate cheese, like whatever that like first base layer is, whatever that tastes like, and it's like bland. Because I
So
think
is that the absence of flavor? Is that what that technically is?
it's
Umami.
probably, yeah, I think that's what.
Let me see. Let me read you guys the. Okay, so it says umami is an appetitive taste, sometimes described as savory or meaty. It is the most recently identified and accepted of the basic tastes. In the early part of the 20th century, a Japanese chemist named Kikune Ikeda attempted to identify this taste common to asparagus, tomatoes, cheese, and meat, but none of the four well-known tastes its could describe it adequately. What then he pointed was that the presence of glutamine acid, which he renamed umami, Japanese for good flavor, though one of the core flavors of Eastern cuisine, imparted by soy sauce and MSG. It wasn't
Ooh.
accepted by a basic taste in the West until 1985. So it says it's an
Wait, so then where? Wait, say it again.
I was gonna say it's an appetitive taste, like appetite. So it's more like a craving, like it's something that you would crave.
Wait, so then where did the not flavor come from?
I don't know.
Where did that conversation start of the not having any flavor?
Oh, because Yuli said that meat doesn't really have like any of the other flavors, none of the
Hmm.
other categories, and neither does like a tomato. Like a tomato's bland,
Hmm.
and so is meat, I guess.
But I mean, isn't the definition savory, not bland?
Yeah, savory or meaty. So what I got by that first part of the definition, it's that it's more of like a craving type of thing. Hold on, let me Google the word appetitive. Let me see. How do you say it?
Appetitive.
Oh, appetitive. Holy shit, I'd say that completely wrong. Appetitive. Uh, it's a natural desire to satisfy bodily needs. So is it more of a texture? Because I
Think
can
so.
I can kind of see like meat like that chew to it. I don't know about tomatoes. Tomatoes are
I don't
just
think
kind of
it. Uh,
like red grapes.
I don't think it's a texture thing.
Hmm. But that's what umami means. Good flavor in Japanese.
Like, remember when we ate at the umami burger place?
Yeah.
Uh, to me, like the burger, it tasted kind of whatever. Like I forgot. Did they give us like something to dip our burger in?
Yes.
Like some type of jus or
Yeah.
whatever that was.
Mhm.
Like when we dipped it in that, that's what like made the burger uh like it just brought out all the other flavors. Boom. And I've heard from watching like a lot of cooking shows, you add MSG to a lot of stuff to like enhance the flavors. Like salt is an enhancer. Like it doesn't you things don't become salty. You add salt to boost the other flavors of stuff.
Hmm.
And that's like that, and MSG is just like a really concentrated version of that.
Maybe that's why I like salt a lot
Yeah,
because it
because
just
like
like maximizes the flavors.
yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
then umami, it might be because you said like soy sauce and MSG was like part of that, right?
Well, salt and MSG, which soy sauce is basically like
Right.
liquid MSG.
Okay, yeah.
That's crazy how like animals just dig their face into other animals and call it a day. But we have all this like there's schools for this shit. There's schools to learn how to like cook properly or whatever properly means. You know, like some people might not like, let's say like Italian food at all. They just don't think it's good, or like French food, or maybe food traditional to like England or maybe Mexico. Maybe people don't like Mexican food. It's kind of interesting how there's so much of it, and just in Mexico, in and of itself, Mexico has such a big, huge like um, it's such a huge part of the culture, like food, and there's so many spices. I mean, fuck, like England invaded half the world for fucking spices. So it's pretty fucking interesting how
They
it's
invaded half the world for the spices and don't even use them.
all they use is tea.
White people be tripping, dude. They even spice their tea. Like put some
Is sugar a spice?
probably a sweetener. Or what do you call it as a spice?
Would it fall into
Yes,
that category?
probably. But I think they use spice as an umbrella term. But it'll just be like I feel like spice and then like seasoning will equal the same thing.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
Let me twist your plot.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the question is sugar considered a spice in the website Quora? Someone replied, sugar is a drug.
Oh,
So if you consider cocaine or marijuana as a spice, then yes. Otherwise, no. It's a drug.
the sugar come from a flower?
Co- cocaine and marijuana,
Sugar,
cocaine,
sugar.
marijuana, and sugar are all three plant-based drugs that Westerns like myself consume often as a part of their daily diet. But that doesn't make it food. Uh, huh. I don't. I'm gonna
So
have to
the
look.
way yeah, the way they're explaining it is like any something that will come from a plant will be a drug.
I
I
mean,
took it as something that comes from a plant with an addictive quality.
yes.
Ooh.
That's what I got from it.
Because like I was like, sugar doesn't really give you like a crazy effect like the other, like
Gives you a sugar
cayenne.
high.
But yeah, I was gonna say it gives you a sugar high.
Rush.
So that's so maybe it's not as crazy as the other two, but like it's still that's why we probably still eat it because it doesn't get you that.
It's a pop form of cocaine.
Look at us, dude.
So it
How are we
says.
gonna sell it?
So the definition on Wikipedia of a spice, it says a spice is a seed, fruit, root, bark, or other plant substance primarily used for flavoring or coloring food.
I
Um,
agree with that.
Spices are distinguished from herbs, which are the leaves, flowers, or stems of plants used for flavoring and or as garnish. Spices are sometimes used in medicine, religious rituals, cosmetics, or perfume production. So wouldn't that technically make sugar a spice?
Yeah, I can
Because
see that now.
a sugar cane is a root, I think.
A plant, like a plant, like bamboo.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh my god. So it says again on Quora, is sugar cane a fruit or a vegetable? The person answering says, tricky to answer this. Sugar cane itself is a type of grass or reed, and like any
Or
other
reed.
grasses, it doesn't bear fruit the way an orange or apples do. So
Yeah,
it's
a
kind of like
reed.
bamboo. Bamboo.
Ooh,
Okay.
so imagine bamboo sugar. That must be bomb as fuck.
So then I guess technically it's not then, since it's a reed and it doesn't fall in the category of seed, fruit, root, bark, or other plant. But we found out that sugar's a drug. Hey, it makes sense. I mean, look at the little crackheads, like 2, 3 year olds with sugar. It's like They're like little fucking those toys at the swap meet. They just crank them, and they go.
Take off.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Those little toys, when you crank it, you're just crushing up the sugar that's inside the toy.
That's why you get a.
You're just cracking the. It's like you crack pepper. You have like those ones where you spin it to crack it. It's the same deal.
Oh yeah.
It's powered by sugar. Batteries are actually sugar. They don't want you to know that. That's why they tell you not to cut into them.
Conspiracy theory time.
And look, that's why they use batteries to charge up the birds. Dude, because they're made of sugar.
They use batteries to charge what?
Remember when the birds? Did you notice
The scooters?
why did huh?
The scooters?
No, birds like pigeons,
like actual
birds.
birds?
The animals, yeah. Did you guys notice when we're in quarantine, like there weren't any birds in sight? It's because they were charging up the birds again, dude. See, I'm on to you, government. We know, dude.
For the record, we are not associated with King_Yuli.
Is this what college degrees are? So I'm glad I dropped out.
Dude, no, it is you get to enhance your brain, dude.
If that's what you want to call it.
So look at now.
It's like thinking that time isn't really a thing because when we were little kids, we didn't think about time. Therefore, time's not really there.
Big brain hours, bro. You're just not seeing the picture. It sounds like you need
No
more
way.
water.
No, it's getting there now.
Look,
I see the picture and I can tell you that
it seems like you need more water, bro. Cheers.
Rehydrate.
No, dude, you're not. I didn't see you bless it. Therefore, it's inadequate.
Bless up, dude.
That's a topic for another day.
Pigeons.
Yeah, sure.
That could be a topic for another day too.
Oh, but let's I think let's talk about the fights. The fight that just happened on Saturday. We had pretty good fights that happened. I was surprised by some of the outcomes. Some of the faces did not match the outcome. Others did.
Some of the faces didn't look the way they came in.
They're bodybuilders.
So, let's start with. Let me see. Let me pull up the fights.
We got their win.
We
Like
got
around Rose Namajunas, no?
we
Very
got there
first
at
round.
the first one of Amanda Ribas. We saw her win with the cheeky armbar.
Oh, with Paige. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, that was a quick, easy dub. It was 2 minutes into the fight. So
Textbook armor.
yeah, there's not much to say about that. Then Paige kind of fucked herself.
Yep.
And then Amanda just had that textbook armbar. Then the one after that was Jessica Andrade against Rose Namajunas.
Doug Rose, dude.
Doug Rose, yeah, that went the full length. And then Namajunas won, but
That was an interesting fight.
it was mostly on my end because her face is not typically the face of someone that wins. Her face was pretty busted in comparison to the other
But-
girl.
Because it looked like Rose was landing more shots.
Yes.
If I remember, she was landing more shots, but the other chicks' punches seemed like they had more power. That's why Rose's face was all fucked up.
Yeah.
The other girl seemed like she had just stepped in. She was just getting started.
Yeah, Andrade, like, she was throwing power bombs every punch.
She didn't connect as many, but the one she did connect definitely had an effect. But I guess the judges went with quality, I guess, or quantity over quality, I guess.
Yeah.
Was
Wouldn't
it
they
what-
always go with that? Isn't that how you win? Like whoever lands more punches.
That's a good question because I mean, with like the Max Holloway fight, you would say the same thing, but I guess not.
Okay, I'm gonna put
Oh,
the.
true.
This
So
is the
I don't know.
face.
It's just however those certain judges, I guess, see it.
That's what Namayunas ended up looking like. She got her face. Well, and
Torched
even
by
then, it's
Nancy
not like
Rose.
it's not a lot when you really look at it. It's just a cut in the nose and the swollen eye.
It
But
takes up half her face.
but the difference is that the other girl did not end up that way. She had like a little cut and that was it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Uh, usually people that win don't end up looking like that. But I mean, I guess as far as points and as far as the technical aspect of the game, she had it on lock. Um, and then that was a good fight. It was good. I
I think
like.
that was match of the night or fight of the night.
You think so? Yeah.
That was that was my favorite one.
Okay. You think that's your favorite? Okay. Then the next one was Peter Yan against Jose Aldo.
Poor Jose, dude.
Poor
The ref
Jose,
was trash.
indeed. See, look, a lot of people were saying after the McGregor fight, a lot of people were saying that was gonna be it for Aldo, um, and I think so far it's kind of been true, because on his last 7 fights, he's lost 4 of them.
He was on a winning streak up to the McGregor fight, right?
Yes,
And then after that, like
I
he's
think he
been
was he
winning
was
and
like
losing.
what, like 12 fights on a 12 fight streak.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I just remember that like his record versus the way he lost didn't make sense.
Yes.
Like if he was gonna lose, he shouldn't have lost that fast.
Yeah. Well, not even that fast.
It was. I mean, you can see the whole fight in like a TikTok
Well, no, it went to round 5.
with
Uh,
McGregor.
I think
Oh,
he's talking
oh,
about the
oh, McGregor,
McGregor fight.
McGregor. Oh, I'm still thinking of Peter
Yeah,
Yan.
no,
Yeah,
McGregor. That
no,
that
bro.
fight, like it ended. It did not end the way it was supposed to.
The
Like,
McGregor fight could have fit in a vine.
yeah, dude. Like they jogged around a little bit. They were like this, and then yes, a couple.
It was a perfect, like, heat seeking missile. Is that what they're called? Just right to his face and put him
But
asleep.
there's a better missile, and it's attached to Jorge Masvidal's knee.
I was
That
gonna
was a
say.
good sequence.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Aldo pulled an aspirin before aspirin pulled an aspirin.
But
And he came back up.
Askren's is better because, if I remember, Jose Aldo went limp, and Askren went stiffy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that flying knee was crazy. I don't think he saw it coming.
Nobody did, dude. Like even the announcers are like, the fight clock is brought to Modelo.
Yeah.
He didn't even get to announce Modelo, dude. I bet you Modelo's like, what the fuck?
It's like we paid for
We
the
paid
time.
for that.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing too, because right when he went for the knee, Askren went for a takedown, and then like he was
Yep.
already down there, and it worked. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was extra momentum because
Yeah.
he jumped or he ran into it.
And
That
something
was
that
fair,
was
dude.
interesting is that Masvidal, I think on his Instagram, he posted that he was training flying knees.
And he never did one, dude.
No, on the camp for that
For
fight.
that fight.
Oh,
On the
Ben
camp
Askren.
for that fight, yeah, he posted on Instagram that he was practicing his flying knees. Sure enough, that was his opener, and
Why not, dude?
ended up taking Askren's soul out of his body for like a cool.
And
5
it's funny
minutes.
because I remember watching like interviews of Askren. Like I was like every day, every day after that fight, I was looking for like the first Askren interview since that fight, and he was saying that he's like, you know, that's my first loss. I've never been knocked unconscious, and I've seen, videos of people getting knocked out with flying knees, and I always thought to myself, wouldn't you be able to see that like a mile away? I guess not. I guess you don't see
Yeah.
flying knees until you wake up the next morning.
True.
He was always like, I don't understand how people get knocked out. Like, wouldn't you see it coming? I
Well,
guess it's a different beast.
Well, he could have seen it coming, but at the same time, when he went for the knee, he went for the takedown. So I think it was
Well, I
just
mean,
like,
I think you might. I mean, you might be able to say that with all flying knees, or
yeah,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
most of them. That's why he never even like considered like maybe I can, maybe I don't actually see it
yeah.
because I'm working for the takedown, my hands down.
Mhm.
Next thing I know, someone's like, "Hey, you good?"
Mhm.
And I
Wake the
think he
fuck
said
up.
like he doesn't remember anything after the fight till like the next morning,
Yeah,
uh,
that's intense. Yeah,
or like in the hospital or some shit like that.
and then Masvidal went and tried the flying knee with Nate Diaz,
That one was funny.
but he just psyched him out. He psyched him out,
Diaz
and
was
Diaz
like, "I'm
was
happy."
like,
He ran away, dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That shit looked funny.
that
That was a
fight,
good one.
that fight was like BS because it was a medical stoppage. I wish they would have like just let it go through, because I think
Because
from what I recall,
how,
that fight Nate Diaz was making a comeback right before he got stopped.
Always.
how is it that you're gonna crown the BMF title on a doctor stoppage?
Yeah, that's not very BMF behavior.
No, no,
That's
Skip.
like in WWE, or like I think last year, there was a Hell in a Cell match, which is like no disqualifications for nothing, right? Like
Mm.
one of the most brutal matches. And then the one of the guys was getting like demolished with like chairs inside the Hell in a Cell, and the ref like stopped the match because like
He
he was
disqualified him.
he disqualified him, but like it's a Hell in a Cell match, you don't do that. Like that was the first time ever that's happened. Like come on, dude.
It was funny because there was an old wrestler who was like, "How do you get disqualified in a Hell in a Cell match?" And
Yeah.
then like the people around them, no, it's because they. I mean, they were telling him he couldn't do it. How do you get like he just he didn't want to drop it, and it was funny because they were that particular reaction was streamed on like WWE's like account.
Mm.
So from what I know, Vince McMahon he doesn't like when you call things out, especially if you're in the company. But that particular wrestler didn't give a fuck. He thought it was bullshit,
True though.
Yeah,
which it was.
yeah, cause he's in the right, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like someone, Undertaker threw someone off a Hell in a Cell, like
I saw that.
whatever, 20 feet,
I was watching
and they
that
didn't
fight.
stop the match for that. And this one, he was just getting hit with a couple little chairs.
it's like, how do you stop uh the Nate Diaz Masvidal fight? But if you've ever seen the fight of what is it, Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald, um, Robbie Lawler's his lip
Oh
is
yeah, it
just
was like hanging.
completely torn.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
It's completely torn. How do you not stop that fight, but you stop the cut on Nate Diaz?
And I'll do you one better. How do you stop that Nate Diaz fight, but you didn't stop the Peter Yan Aldo fight a lot earlier?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Like Aldo, like it was clear that Aldo was like I mean, I get it. There's like different angles, right? Like I get it because it was a title fight, so it's kind of like the ref is probably gonna let him go till he can't because it is a title fight. Um, and Aldo was like moving around, so I can understand why the ref might have not stopped it. But it's like you're seeing this guy just take bombs, like bombs to the like side back of the head. It's like you should have known a little bit better than to be like, okay, he's taken like about 30 shots. I think it's a good time to stop. Nah, he let it go for another 30. And
And
then
he just think like just a couple weeks ago, the Henry Cejudo Dominic Cruz fight,
mm-hmm,
where Dominic Cruz was getting up and they called it early.
yeah,
right? So that one was the complete opposite. This one, they were like, the ref was like, you know what? Nah, he's still alive. He's still breathing. He's still moving. Fuck him up.
Yeah,
Be bolder. Be bolder.
Hit
yeah.
Fuck
him
him up.
harder, dude.
Hit him harder. Dude, like he's still conscious. What are you doing?
Don't be shy. Hit him
Dude,
more.
and Peter Yan exhausted himself fucking power bombing
We
Aldo.
were we were even saying like Peter Young's probably like, hey fool, I'm tired, dude. Just call it already, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He taps out, dude, due to exhaustion, and Aldo wins.
Yeah, so that was a good fight, but again,
I
I hope Aldo's doing all right.
I heard someone describe it as Jan was playing bongos with Aldo's head,
Yeah.
and it's a pretty accurate description. It was just like
Big true.
it was like half that round was just Aldo eating punches. Like he was so hungry, dude. He was just eating
I
all of
saw
them. It was like he was at catering.
I saw someone say that Aldo was gonna have a headache for 3 to 5 business days, and I can see that happening.
Oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, that was a good fight. Hope Aldo's cool. Hope there's no like big damage going on. But now, the next fight. This one, this fight was an interesting like decision. Um, but looking at the stats, you kind of understand why it happened. It's the Max Holloway against Alexander Volkanovski, which he's actually not Russian. He's Australian, but he has
Australia.
a Russian last name.
Oi, oi, oi.
Um, so I personally thought that Max Holloway had at least the first 3 rounds. He seemed to be the more dominant, the more he dropped him twice during the fight. And then I don't think Max ever got dropped. And every takedown attempt, Max just shaked it off. He was able to get back up, no problem. Um, which someone I read someone on Twitter put I guess getting dropped twice isn't as good as taking someone down with no damage. And I was like, I guess so. Um,
Yeah.
but when you look at the strikes, so total strikes, um, let's see, Alex he landed 139 out of 275, 50.5% landed, and then Max Holloway 111 landed out of 277. So Max threw more but landed way less at 40.1%. Um,
Interesting.
as far as significant strikes, Alex had 137 landed out of 272 at 50.4%. And then Max, he had 102 thrown, 102 landed out of 268. So four less thrown than Alex, but way less landed at 38.1%. Takedowns. Alex had 3 successful takedowns out of 9 at 33.3%, and then Max didn't have a single takedown attempt. Um, so when you look at the stats, you can kind of tell why Alex won. He had he had more of the points to his favor, but when you looked at the fight, you could tell that like Max was the one keeping the pace. Max was the one that like he was dictating the fight, and Alex was just kind of like trying to find openings, which he did, uh, clearly because of the stats. But it seemed like Max was just pacing the whole fight, like he was leading the fight. So when we got to the third round, I was like, cool, like Max got it. Little little did we know, Max was gonna come out and take the cake.
Oh, nah.
Like I can see it overall, I guess.
Yeah,
But I mean, don't they score it round by round?
yeah,
And is it as clear round by round as it is overall? Would be my first question. Because the way I saw it, I saw Max take the first three, and then Volcano take the last two. If anything, it would have been like a split decision for Holloway, or even majority, depending on how you score the rounds. Because I think maybe even the one where Volcano got dropped, you could probably even score that 10-8.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who knows?
I know Rogan trash talks the judging more often than not.
Mhm.
And one of the things he said that the judges are non MMA guys. Like they're literally just judges. That they themselves don't practice martial arts, which is interesting. Like how is it that you would think that if you have someone judging an art, a craft, a sport, whatever it is, they need to have some sort of involvement in the field that they're judging. Like for example, we were in band. Typically, the judges were like big names in the jazz world. You had like cats like Jeff Tower, Jeff Jarvis. I think Bruce Babad was a judge in a couple times. Um, I forget the guy from Upland. Oh, you had Willie
Oh,
Murillo.
uh, uh, um, Wooten.
Yeah, like oh
The
yeah,
kind.
we had that cat, and it's like you had all these like big names in the jazz world being judges for high school jazz bands. Um,
But they
and
themselves had a jazz background.
right, and then you have the sport where like the well being of the person they're putting their well being like on the line in order to win a fight, and you have people that don't that they're not in the field. Like how does that make sense?
I play devil's advocate
Sure.
with the. I guess it could work both ways because I would be like, it's okay that they're not in the sport and they could be judges because what they're judging is just like like just how many stuff are landing, right? Like a punch is landing. So don't they just will just like keep a track like every time they see a physical like hit that lands, they will just like keep track, keep tally.
Yes and no, but
Cause
and
what
it go
what
what I was gonna say is that you also yes that does play a role, but you also have to weigh like what was more worth it, the fact that Max dropped him or that the other guy landed more punches because Max never got dropped.
well
He
for
threw
the
more. The other guy threw more, but it didn't mean shit because Max didn't take any damage.
then how do they actually score it? Cause like if you go to the music, like why you would need an actual person who does music to judge music because they base it like the scoring is based on musicality, on actual precision and execution, and then like if you're with that is like also that you're executing the style and whatever you're playing, and then another thing will probably be like actual like fundamentals like if you're in tune or if you're in time with fighting. How do they actually score it? Is it because mostly whenever I see like boxing or fighting, it's like whoever landed the most punches.
Yeah.
So in UFC, is there like another thing like whoever like if you take down someone is worth like 10 points? How do they actually score it?
Um. As far as I know, Rogan doesn't even know how fights are scored.
What the
I
heck?
think that's part of the problem.
Okay, yeah, then that's definitely is the
Yeah.
biggest
Let me
problem
see.
because if it's just like if they make it like as logical like if like punches are worth a point and then takedowns are worth 5 points. If you do like a I don't know, like a finisher special move, like a knee or like a spin kick or something like that. Like
What do you think this is, dude?
I don't know. But
If you do an X-ray, if you do a fatality, we'll give you this many points.
yeah,
Okay.
A
or
special
like
move.
if you
If
finish
you
if you do it
Hadouken,
or if you had them like in in the submission, right?
Yeah.
But then they got out, like, but just the fact that you put them in the submission, that's worth like 10 points too.
Okay.
So like,
So
what
so if you
see?
put him in a submission, is that worth more? Putting someone in a submission, is that worth more than the person being submitted successfully getting out of that submission,
Uh,
I would think getting out is worth more than getting submitted.
yeah, yeah. But then at the end, I think the best way to judge matches will be just like by tallying points. So if so say getting someone in a submission is worth 10 points, but if you successfully get out of it, then that's worth like 15. And then by the end of the whole match, by like everything that happened, all the punches were landed, how many takedowns that we tallied up, or if you like did a finisher move or a submission, like after everything, after everything was tallied up, like whoever had the most points.
Okay,
Like,
so
wouldn't that obviously like make it like the most reasonable way?
this is from UFC.com, rules and regulations, and this is section 14. Uh, I guess chapter 14, section C. It says judges shall evaluate mixed martial arts techniques such as effective striking, which is like landing punches,
The
right?
punches, okay.
Effective grappling, control of the ring slash fighting arena, effective aggressiveness, and defense. Um,
Effective aggression is a defense. Okay.
Evaluation shall be made in the order in which the techniques appear in section C, giving the most weight in scoring up to effective striking, effective grappling, control of the fight arena, and effective aggressiveness and defense. So I guess that's why actually landing punches does weigh a lot in the points.
Mhm,
But it's like, yeah, like I understand that because
mhm,
you were technically, in a technical aspect, you were the more efficient fighter because you threw a good amount and you also landed a good amount, like as far as percentages, right? That makes sense. But now, like, I think there should be a counter to that, um, where yes, you are a technical fighter and you landed these many hits, but the other guy might have not landed as many because he was getting hit, but maybe his punches had more effect than the other guy, which we saw it on the Max Holloway fight. He dropped Alex twice, and Alex, although he was landing punches, it was like the damage was very minimal in comparison to the Max Holloway's punches.
mhm.
So I think there it doesn't seem like, as far as like I'm reading, it doesn't seem like there's too much of a. It's like very one sided. Like you could there's it's kind of encouraging a specific style of fighting, which is punch and run, punch and run, punch and run. Why? Because one, you're gonna get the least amount of damage done to you, and two, you're gonna win by points. And I get it. It's a legitimate style of fighting because that's how Mayweather fights, right? In boxing, and he's said to be the best defensive boxer of all times, which makes sense. Like, he goes in, takes a couple hits, backs up, goes in, couple hits, backs up, and it's just like they're playing the the scoreboard, but they're not incentivized to deal damage. They're incentivized to just land punches, whether they have any power behind them or not. It doesn't matter because they're getting points just by touching the other guy. So I think there should be some sort of counter where it's like, okay, yeah, let's take the amount of strikes done, but let's also see the damage that was done. And I think one of the ways you can see that is by the damage on the face. Um, and that one's kind of like like a gray area as well because some guys cut faster than others.
Well, I was gonna
Um,
say because even like in the beginning, they could land just one good like kick where it caught him off guard, but then if the rest of the whole match like he never hits ever again, and like the guy who got hit like lands more punches and like takes control, like that might be hard because obviously he's gonna have more damage, but like he started to control like the rest of the match.
right.
I would say
But
you could see it in knockdowns.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like what would be more what would be worth more points? Having a higher efficiency Or like let's say Alex had a 70%, right, for of punches landed to punches attempted,
Mm.
and Max only had like 50,
Mhm.
but he knocked him down 2 or 3 times. Which one would which one would be worth more? More punches landed or less punches landed, but they actually resulted in knockdowns.
Yeah, so that's where I'm saying where they should like they should like give points to like certain stuff that happens. So punches should be like worth a point, like takedowns or should worth like 5. An actual knockdown is like worth 20. Submissions like, well, obviously a submission you're gonna be, if you tap out, like it's done. But if you put them in submission and they get out, but just the fact that you put them in one, that's like another points. And then at the end they just tally up all the points like that, because the way they're judging it now, it sounds too subjective and not like objective, like actually like counting like or tallying up stuff.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps like I mean, I do get it. They're incentivizing that style of play, and it is kind of to the favor of the fighters because it also like let's say that people are just going for points and just making contact without much power behind their punches, like the positive of that is that the other person is not really getting hurt. So you like the well-being of the fighter is also being taken into account. But
Well then,
I also think that obviously the best incentive for a knockdown is that you knock the person down,
right,
like
right. I was I
like
was
going ham.
I was
The
gonna say that, like, if you're worried about the other guy just playing for points, like the other guy should just be trying to go for a knockout.
right, which is kind of how it always goes.
Right.
But if you unsuccessfully knock the other guy out, then you're kind of shit out of luck. Even though you did knock him down, you kind of shit out of luck because you didn't land as much.
Well, that's why. So knockdown should be worth like a bunch of points, like say like 50 or something.
Right. I agree with you, but
Yeah, yeah,
in this case, in this specific fight, it seemed like that wasn't the case.
yeah. Or
So
just the way they're judging it now is like it's not the way that we're saying how it is.
right.
So whatever how they judge it, like how they tally up stuff, it's weird. Like,
So I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they had Dominic Cruz,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked him like, "Well, what's up with the?" He asked him specifically the Holloway one, and it was a Yuli. You saw the tweet of Pat McAfee.
uh,
It was on his podcast because he's like, I'm not an MMA guy. I'm not a huge MMA fan. Whenever there's a big card, I watch it. ESPN put a picture up and said that Volcano had won, but based on this picture, his body was completely red. Holloway only had a section that was red.
oh, the little graphic.
Yeah, the little graph
Yeah,
where all the hits were.
yeah, yeah.
So if it says that he had more hits, but it's only like to the head and to the feet,
Mm-hmm.
while Max Holloway had basically hit everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? How would you not give it to Max when he was the more uh, efficiency in the sense that he hit the whole
Different
body?
areas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he hit from every angle, and they were like, "What's up with the scoring system? Like, why do you have fights that seemingly don't make sense?" And Dominic Cruz basically was like, the athletic commissions and like the rules and all that. When the UFC first started, since it was MMA was a brand new sport, they had no foundation. So they just took boxing. They took the rules and the commissions and all that shit from boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, um, all that stuff isn't tailor made for MMA. It was tailor made for boxing. And even he said it, he's like, boxing is known, it's had a shady past, and it's a kind of thing that it carries over to the MMA world. He's like, really, what MMA should do is have um their own, like, what's the right word, um
Scoring.
not personalized, but like their own thing that's specific for MMA.
Right.
So, and that would go into having judges who are actual MMA practitioners. Like, let's say Big John McCarthy retired from refing, which I don't know if he did or did not. Um, but let's say he was done refing. Why not have him be a judge? You're
He'd
telling
make
me
a
he
great
wouldn't know
judge.
what he's looking for?
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah. I
the,
Refs.
think
the, the, the judges, Big John McCarthy, Herb Dean, and Joe Rogan. You're telling me that judge those scorecards wouldn't be accurate to what actually happened in the fight?
yeah, I
So
think Big John would be like a fantastic like option to be a judge because one, he's a ref, he has to know everything that goes on in the ring, and he himself he's a jiu-jitsu guy, so
Yes.
he understands everything, the ins and out.
so now
Herb,
would those judges still be based on the same way they score? Like whatever scoring
I think
rules they
I
have
feel
now?
well, the thing is, it doesn't seem like there's a concrete way of judging now.
yeah, I think they need to revamp the system.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I think a full U-Haul of the way they judge it. I think the best way is like way tallying up points. I've been saying just like takedowns are this many, punches are worth this many, a knockdown is worth like the most, a submission like is worth the most. Like do it like that, because then that's just it's not subjective. It's all like what actually happened in the match.
Yeah, cause yeah, that's a good point that you said that they basically brought over the system from boxing, and like that is I think that's a good way to score boxing, because boxing is very technical, it's super technical, um, but then yeah, it does not take into account like a lot of other things that because UFC, the UFC and and MMA in general, it has a whole lot more variables than boxing.
Because MMA has boxing, but boxing is just a part of it,
Yes, it's probably
right?
like 10% of the
It
sport.
doesn't take into account wrestling or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Muay
Kickboxing,
Thai, kickboxing. There's like a whole other like skill set
judo,
that each individual fighter has.
yeah,
So it's
Hmm.
like there has to be a way. Because let's say one dude is a pure striker, the other guy is a wrestler. So if the other guy is constantly taking him down, the wrestler, but then the striker is landing more punches, who wins? How would you score that?
because it
If
does
the
happen.
wrestler isn't gonna be punching a lot, he's gonna be taking down, he's gonna be wanting to look for the submission or doing ground and pound, but that may result in less punches
Yeah,
and less strikes, I should say.
and even then, I feel like that's been a little minimized over the years, because the first UFCs, it was like you have like a all American wrestler, and then you had like a Muay Thai guy.
No, but I
It
mean
was like these weird mismatches. But now I feel like the styles are a little more like there's
Mixed.
like a meta. There's like a meta that you go after, which is jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. I feel
but
like it's a meta.
they're specialized is what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you can't say Jorge Masvidal is a wrestler.
No,
He's not.
he's straight striker. Yeah.
And Usman knows that. That's
Yeah.
why he didn't let. That's why he had him. He was grabbing him the whole time,
Right.
right? But then, how would you score that? Let's
Right.
say in that fight, Masvidal punched way more than he did.
Hmm.
Would you score it? Would you give the win, or would you give the advantage to Masvidal for landing more punches, or would you give it to Usman for ground control and takedowns.
Yeah,
Right? I
that's
think
a hard
it's
one.
just it's such a hard thing, and if like actual MMA practitioners have tough time deciphering it, you're telling me that a bunch of the three dudes that have no idea what MMA is really about are qualified to judge?
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely rough. And I mean, they obviously haven't found the answer yet. Um, so
The easy
I
answer would be is like get people, practitioners of the sport to judge. That will like fix a lot, like kind of immediately, I think. But then just revamping the whole scoring like rules and styles.
well then now with that, like I think now we see like another obstacle. Like okay, let's say that they put like Rogan, DC, and Big John, just for an example. They make those guys judges, right? Now Rogan, he's a judo, jiu-jitsu, and kickboxing. Um, DC is a straight up wrestler, and then Big John is jiu-jitsu slash ref. Now, when we have like a mismatch, like Usman against Masvidal, right? How much of the bias is gonna go, like like the biases, like how are they gonna judge? For example, DC, he's a wrestler. He might favorite Usman because let's say Usman, like every time there was a like a takedown or they were like on the floor like grappling. Let's say that Usman was always on top, right? But when they were on their feet, Masvidal was just barraging Usman with punches. Now,
Mhm.
I think this is just my idea that DC might favorite Usman because he is a wrestler. He's like that's what he does. That's his gig, right? Big John is also a jiu-jitsu guy, so he might favor that aspect to Usman. And Rogan, he's like a hybrid. He does striking, but he also does jiu-jitsu, so he might be a little more neutral. Like should there be like we have a striking judge, a wrestling judge, and a neutral one, like a tiebreaker one, or how would that work? Because I think if you have kind of like what I said, like um, the judges are kind of tilted towards like grappling and like being on the ground, as opposed to striking. Would that bias like hurt when judging?
I don't think so because I
Nope.
think they should go in like not having biases. Because if Rogan has argued that the judges are kind of whack, like obviously he can go in having a bias already.
Well,
So,
maybe bias is the wrong word, but like
but it is the right word
appreciation. But
because
appreciation, like he
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like DC
It,
would appreciate more someone that has a better wrestling technique than someone that has a better striking technique.
I agree with Yuli. And the other thing is, even if there is a bias, there's not much you can do. Like everyone's gonna have a bias, no matter what.
mhm,
Whether even if there are newbies who have no idea, their bias is gonna be striking because what is easy to see.
Right.
You can see punches and you can see damage. You're telling me someone who doesn't know about MMA can understand what jiu-jitsu is all about and
Mm.
what's happening and how technical it is?
Yeah.
No. So I think there's gonna be a bias no matter who's back there, but I would feel more comfortable having MMA guys judging MMA fights
Mm-hmm.
than regular jabronis judging MMA fights, regardless of what their I'm not gonna
their
say expertise,
special,
but what
yeah,
what,
like
what their
specialty.
specialty is. I think regardless, there's gonna be some level of bias. I don't
Mhm.
think you can really do much about it,
Yeah.
but you would honestly at that point you would just hope that whoever you got back there will try to be as subjective or objective as possible, as like judging what they see, and not what they want to see.
Yeah,
Right.
and that will be that's only the case with the type of like way they score right now. Like the way they score right now really is kind of like subjective.
It's
So then
possible.
To get rid of that would just have to be like I think how I've been saying, just points, like giving certain amount of points to certain amount of like things that they do to make it
You
as objective as possible. Like that, even like they could just go back to the footage and have a computer um like
you
tally up the points.
Yuli has a very taekwondo type of scoring system.
Mm-hmm.
Because in taekwondo, it's like punches don't really give you. I don't think give you any points, or you need to like land 5 punches to equal a point. Every successfully landed kick is like a point, and if you knock somebody down, it's like 5 points or something like that,
Mm.
right? Um, but that again, it's one discipline, so it's much easier
Right.
to be like, okay, that's a point, that's a point, that's 5 points. Uh,
Mhm.
that's three. Like it's easier to do that. I mean, that's gonna be inevitably the problem.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be an easy process. Um, but I mean, I feel like whatever they do come up, if they revamp it, will be better than what they have now.
Now it's kind of like
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think overall they get it at least okay. It's just the very there's the outliers, especially the very obvious like what fight were you guys watching,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean the Masvidal one, you can tell
Yeah.
like who won that fight.
Mm-hmm.
The Holloway Volkanovski one, what was the scoring? What was the judging? Was it a
Um,
split
it was a, s-
or a
yeah, it was a
majority
split. It was a
or
split.
unanimous or what?
Let me see.
no,
It was
it
split.
had to be a split because we were shocked. So I think it was a split.
Max Holloway versus Alexander. Let me see. I don't know why my Google Chrome has been fucking up on me recently. Let me see. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, okay, here it is. Oh, come on. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, my. I don't know why my Google Chrome is messing up. Hold on. Let me use a different browser real quick. Um, but yeah.
I think it was a split.
It was a
Yeah,
split, but I'm trying to remember. I think it was 47, 48, 47, 48, and 48, 47. How it was scored. I think it was 248 for Alex.
Okay, so only one of them wasn't a stooge.
Uh, cannot be reached.
By split decision and
Mm,
UFC. What what
okay,
what what
here it
weight
is.
class is it?
Here it is.
Are they welterweights?
featherweight.
That was a featherweight.
Are they
Oh shit!
featherweights?
Mm-hmm.
I thought was it not welter? I weigh.
Max Holloway looked kind of skinny. Well,
But he's tall.
yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
they're featherweight.
Wow.
Okay, so I got the scorecards. Yeah, it was Mark Collette scored at 48-47 in favor of Volkanovski. David Letheby 47-48 in favor of Holloway, and then Clemens Werner 48-47 for Volkanovski. Huh.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, they for sure need to revamp the system because like for example, back to what I was saying of like it's their livelihoods. Um it sucks that they're out there getting hurt for no return. And then I think there's also like some sort of like KO bonus or something like that. Um, but there's I'm really blanking out on this. But I think there's a way that they can lose that knockout bonus even if they get the knockout. It's some weird like system that they got going on, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the livelihoods of the fighters, and they need to figure out a way to come out with a decent outcome, so they don't like fuck it up like this fight. Because I like a lot of people thought that Max Holloway got it because he was very clearly the dominant guy. He was like pacing the whole fight, but I guess the two knockdowns and pacing the fight didn't matter.
They should also let the fans vote as like bonus points.
No, cause then like you can kind of rig fights in a way. You can tilt the balance to one side, and if you have money on the guys, then you can fuck
There's
it up.
that. You could. I mean, if you go really far down, you can buy bots. Who? Why wouldn't? Who's stopping anyone from buying bots?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think.
then not let the actual fan points like be worth anything, but just to show them on the screen. But then it'll
Oh,
be
kind of
like,
like a
Oh,
poll.
so it's like a general election.
A poll.
yeah, yeah, yes,
Judges are the electoral college,
hmm,
while the fan vote is the popular vote.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
It's more of a stat.
yes. So then
I don't.
the judges could look dumb if it was like the popular vote was like,
Quick thing. You realize how crazy it is that a lot of people don't realize that
The electoral college.
uh,
the
or is like a
electoral
thing,
college
is like an actual thing.
that like some people go to vote strictly to go vote for the president, not realizing that it's literally the only one that doesn't matter whether you vote or not,
Yeah,
because
some
somebody
people.
else is already taking care of that.
It's probably a lot of people. But
That's a wild thing that a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. A lot of people like don't like the electoral college. I mean, in recent history, the electoral college became a very unpopular thing, but
Hmm.
I think the electoral college is a very like necessary thing because without the electoral college, you kind of just go with the herd and the tribe mentality, and you can tilt the balance rather easily. Um, if there was no that check and balance of the electoral college.
It's just crazy, like that. A lot of people don't know that
Yeah,
because I've actually done like the polls,
yeah,
and a lot of people go in there strictly to vote for the presidency, not realizing that it's literally the only one that your vote does not matter. Everything else is way more important because that actually matters. What you vote actually matters. Because I remember they closed the polls in California, or I think in each region, like at 8. No,
yes, yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're respective 8.
Mm-hmm.
So here in California, the polls closed at 8. I remember I was still counting up the ballots and putting them in boxes, and I started getting a bunch of text messages. Obama won while holding a box full of ballots, and I was like, "What about this? What do, what do you mean you won?"
Can you elaborate more on as to why it doesn't matter?
Just because the electoral college is what takes care of it.
Oh,
Like literally everyone who voted that day at that poll place, I had in my hands.
in layman's terms for the people who don't know.
I think he
There's a
already described
bunch
it in
of
the
old
layman.
people that are designated, or that they're put in positions to vote for who becomes president. We, the people, do not actually pick who becomes president. And it became real when a bunch of I was holding a bunch of Americans who went out to vote that day. I was holding their ballots, and everyone was like, "Obama won," and I'm like, "I'm not even done counting them." What do you mean? How? That's when like it was real. I think I had always known it, but this was like the first time like you got like I saw it. I realized the actual like meaning behind that, and I'm like, what's up with all this campaigning bullshit? If like at the end of the day, your vote, it's right. I have it right here. I'm holding a box with your vote, and you're telling me someone already won, and we haven't even loaded it into the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the way to the way to really elect the president is go based off like it's voting for the
Your
representatives in
delegates, huh?
Congress. Yes,
Yeah,
the representative in Congress, because depending on if there's more Republicans or Democrats, that's what the state is going to be. Like California has always, like, not always, but it has been for the most part a blue state, because this whole state tends to vote Democrat, and all the representatives of the state are Democrat, thus they become a blue state. Um, the interesting thing about the electoral college is the swing states. They're the states that are right in the middle, and those states are the ones that at the end of the day elect the presidents. Um, and it does take into account campaigning, because then you tilt the balances. Like if people like those swing states, they're swing states for a reason, because people like switch from one side to the other. um and campaigning, like, it might not seem like it works, but it does work, because those key states are the ones that you got to go after if you want those electoral college votes. um that's how Trump won. During the campaigns, like you saw Hillary, she went to a lot of the big cities. She went to LA, she went to New York, she went to like all the big already democratic cities.
she went to all the places that were already gonna vote for her.
It was pretty much pointless. Trump, on the other hand, he he like went down to all the swing states, which is why he got a lot of them. And that's why, like, yes, there's a popular vote that matters, but there's also a vote. That secondary vote of choosing your representatives for the electoral
That
college votes. Yes, that one has more weight on it.
popular vote is mainly like a stat.
Yeah.
It's all it really is. Because then you get to see who did the people want versus who actually became it. And but my thing about that is not so much to point that out, but more so to say, especially with the elections coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't skip out on all the other propositions and all the other things that you have to vote for, because honestly, that stuff is going to affect you more,
Mm-hmm.
and that stuff is where your vote actually counts.
Yeah.
Even the very local, like vote for your like who's gonna be your mayors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That affects
because
you like immediately.
because it's a lot of emphasis is put on the presidency, and they're like, go out there and vote and all this shit, but they're emphasizing the presidency, and it's like the one where that your vote is not taken into account.
A good example.
Don't disparage everything else. Like everything else is actually way more
Mhm.
where your vote holds more weight.
A good
And I think
example
a
would
lot of
be
people don't know.
Yeah, and then like a good example to like be put into like an actual like situation uh will be like when what Trump was saying like yeah let's open up the country again, but then the certain like governors of the states like they're like nah I'm in charge of my own state,
Yes.
like I'm gonna tell my state like nah we're not gonna open yet,
And
and
you
that's
can
kind
you
of
can even you can even break it down even smaller
yeah
than that. Like there could be a proposition like fucking Proposition 9. In La Puente, we will raise um I don't know like hotel taxes to help uh, fill in potholes.
Yeah.
Yes or no? I mean, that's the kind of shit that'll affect you
immediately,
specifically.
like immediately.
But I mean, I think it's just a lot of people don't realize that, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize that people don't realize that until I actually did the whole polls
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's super important. Like if you don't know now, you know. Um, because like it's also important to remember that we live in a republic, although it is like a democratic republic. At the end of the day, it's still a republic. Just because the popular vote went one side, doesn't mean that that's going to be the final outcome, because just like the checks and balances of like if the president says like oh this is gonna go down, unless it's an executive order, the states still have the decision to be like nah we would rather not, we would rather opt out of that. um and that's where if you truly care about what happens, that's where you go on the state level, because the state level at the end of the day has a lot more say, again unless it's an executive order. um the state At the state level it has a lot more of an impact in your daily life than whatever like executive or not executive but whatever like big picture decision that is made, because your state can be like nah we're cool.
Like just every state opened up differently or
Yes.
handled the coronavirus differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in Cali, they were way more stingy about it. They were way more like we're closing more often. While there's some other states that I don't think closed at all.
Yeah. We were like the first one to kind of close immediately, huh?
They shut everything down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were the
And
first one.
Florida Disney World is open right now.
And
and
then the
here we just
Florida,
got reclosed.
yeah, and the Florida of California is trying to stay open.
Oh,
The OC.
except OC.
Yeah, the
OC, I
OC.
guess, runs on their own. They are their own state.
Yeah.
Um,
But look at
but
just even that, like how the Orange County is in California,
Yeah.
but the mayor of or whatever, whoever
Yeah.
rules the Orange County
it,
is like, nah, dude.
exactly. So whoever the Orange County people voted for like their board of education, it's like, all right, well, the OC board of education is like, all right, we're gonna reopen schools. You don't need face masks. We're not gonna have social distancing. We're gonna go right back to normal. If you don't agree with that, then it's like, ooh, um,
You got to move.
it's gonna be tough. I mean,
Yeah.
you might. It depends on how you feel. You might have to like be like, sorry, mijo, pero we're gonna have to go to another county. We have to figure something out.
Yeah.
Uh, that's crazy. And I'm assuming it's possible that that the coronavirus will still be a thing by the time elections happen. Is it possible we see way more mail-in votes or mail-in ballots
And this
rather
even
than
the whole way we vote is kind of outdated. Like, how is it that we could like take these online tests and they make it so secure? Like, uh, I had to take what's called a CBES test to be like what's so you could be not authorized, but like we can to be a teacher basically, like to be qualified to be a teacher. But like it's so like secured, like they make you do all these stuff. And I mean, like we could do that, but like you're saying that we still have to show up to like a park and do
Yeah.
these old-fashioned ballots when like we could do it from home and still make it
Like
like secure.
something that can work would be like making an app, like a government app.
Yeah,
And then the way to make sure that everything's done, like, I guess, correctly, is that you would put in your driver's license number,
Yeah,
or your ID number. In Mexico, they have IDs specifically to vote.
yeah, that's kind of smart.
Here, people don't really like that. Um, I've heard an array of arguments. Some people saying that we don't have time for that. Other people's,
Ooh,
all the way to people saying that that's racist. Requiring an ID to vote is racist, because and this was going on during the 2016 elections, that voter IDs are racist because people of color can't afford IDs, or people of color don't know where the DNV is at. Those were actual arguments made by journalists and activists. Don't believe me? Look it up. It was a big thing. It was a big thing, and I was like, I was smashing my head against the wall when I read that out. And then there was
That
guys going on doing interviews in the street, just random people, like white, Latinos, black, Asians, whoever they stopped, they were like, "Hey, quick survey. Do you have a driver's license? Yeah. Do you mind showing it to us? You can cover your personal information." They were like, "Yeah, here it is." We're like, "Okay, great. Do you know where the DMV is at?" "Yeah." "Do you have $35 in your bank account?" "Yeah." "Okay, thank you." Every single
it,
person, every single person that they interviewed, whether it was black, white, female, male, purple, uh, orange, you name it, they all answer like, "Yeah, like that seems reasonable." But
it,
the people
it,
the people pushing a specific, I guess, agenda, idea, they were saying like people don't have money, they don't have time for that. It's racist.
I think
it,
that assumption is the racist part.
Thank you.
it,
Thank you. You said it.
yeah. It seems like uh, you're not giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like you're making it seem like they are incompetent, uh, very much far below the threshold, have have very little intelligence. Like it insults the intelligence,
Yes.
and that seems racist to not think that people, let's say minorities,
Mhm.
don't have $35 and know where the DMV is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you own a car, you probably know where the DMV is.
Just to
And
like pretend that if the person writing, the journalist writing this thing was a white person, they're the type of people like, no, trust me, I understand your struggle. I know what it's like to be a Mexican, and I know that you guys can't afford to get this thing.
in trying to not be racist, they come off as being racist.
The most.
Because like if someone came up to me and they're like, "We understand that you're Mexican, so we don't you're not gonna have to pay, and because we know that you probably don't know where your local DMV is, um, you probably don't have time because you're working like 2 shifts a day. Like, wait, hold up, what? I got time. I got
It,
money.
it's very
I know where like DMVs are.
it's very condescending. And
Yes.
like it's funny, like what you said, Yuli. It's like the because I read something on like like racial bias training, and I'm like, wait, like why is that necessary? It's like you're putting more racist ideas into people's heads to not do them, where you could just not have any assumptions on anybody based on any features of their body. It's like, oh no, like if like, oh, you can't say you can't say X, Y, and Z because you might be microaggressing on people of color. It's like, how about you're just a decent person that doesn't say dumb shit, and you might be okay. Like, I don't know.
You
It
you you would think it'd be an easy thing. You don't have to micromanage every single little fucking thing you say.
Hey, bro.
Just don't say stupid shit. It's that easy.
Hey, bro. It's because you don't know where the DMV is at.
I get, you know why? Because I'm Mexican. That's why I don't know where it is. I don't have $30 and I don't got no time because I'm working 2 shifts, dude. I got two jobs.
And my wife is pregnant with their sixth child, and I'm
True.
just about to get deported.
I mean,
And
it's fucking funny because like a DMV is literally a melting pot of like every kind of person
Yeah.
you could think of is probably at the DMV that day.
Yeah.
yeah,
So that premise is just it's Luda.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous, dude.
Like I've seen people roll up in like expensive cars, and I've seen people like get dropped off in like en a carrito de lotes. Like it's like the extremes at the DMV is like amazing. That is what America is. The DMV.
The DMV.
The DMV. The DMV is the most American thing.
it's the melting pot of
Yes.
the country.
That's an interesting argument.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that,
Yes.
and I don't like it.
I bashed my head against the wall when I read that. I was like, it just triggered me. I was like, you're trying to be an ally so hard that
But like,
you're not an ally. It's like with friends like you, why would I want enemies?
It's like you're trying too hard to be accommodating, I guess. It's like if there was like a white family, right? And let's say their shit is like barbecuing. And they're like they invite like I'm homies with one of the cats there, and he's like, "Hey bro, you want to come over? We're having a barbecue." Yeah, dude, let's go. And I get there and they're like, "Oh, hello. Um we made some tacos for you, you know, just so you feel right at home." And I'll be like, "What the fuck? Dude, I came here to have barbecue, man. Like I don't
yeah.
to feel to feel at home. Like it's fine."
Bro, I will fight if someone tried to do
If,
that to me.
if anything, dude, I'd be offended. Be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like,
What do
fuck
you-
your tacos. Where the ribs at?
Where the ribs? What do you mean?"
Where's the
Mhm.
coleslaw?
Yeah, and then imagine they're like, "We got you some mole," and I'm like, "Oh hell no. Oh hell, you're giving me mole, and I don't even like this shit in the first place." And then you think that just because you give me this shit, that I'm just gonna feel at home?
Yeah.
I'd be more
Okay.
triggered if you had. You might as well just been like, "Here, all we got is pulled pork. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you got
I know what
barbecue.
I'm getting myself
You
into."
got barbecue. Got
It's
some
like-
buns, mustard.
And then
Wait.
the white lady, after she was like, "Here, I got you a nice prepared corn. I know it's one of your guys' favorite delicacies."
We got you some horchata. You like horchata?
Hibiscus
And we
juice
got you
over
we got you Coke. We have some Coca Cola. Oh, finally, dude. Yeah, it says
Made
medio
in Me-
litro. I'll be like, "Bro, you guys can't even give me regular fucking Coke. Come on, dog." It's like-
I would accept the media litro Coke.
I would accept it, but it's just the whole context. It would be like, "Bro, you guys can't even give me regular Coke. Give me one that says fucking like Gwen on it, dude." Like,
Mexican
like, I get it,
Coke
dude.
is elite though.
Oh no,
It's
they would have been like, "Okay, I know you guys can't afford the name brand stuff, so I got you what you guys should be used to. Here's the Shasta.
don't give me Shasta.
Here's the
Don't
RC
give me
Cola.
Shasta.
Here's your RC Cola, so you can
No.
feel right at home."
No.
I hate.
I'd be like, "I can go buy that at the 99-cent store, but you can't offer it."
yeah, dude.
See, it's just
It's
like,
like if we had a carne asada. That's what we do. We make carne asadas. if we had an Asian homie, we wouldn't have like a box from Happy Walk ready for him just so that he
Ready to
feels
go.
fit in. Like we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucked up. That's fucked up.
We would be like, imagine how messed up that is. Like, hey, bro, what's up? What's cracking? Hey, we don't want you to feel left out. We got you a box of Happy Walk right there. No, we wouldn't do that.
That's so fucked. Got you the egg rolls, the sweet and sour sauce, the orange
No,
chicken, the chow mein.
dude, straight from Chinaloa, dude. That's what the ladies sell. That's what the ladies say over there at Happy Walk, that they're from Chinaloa, dude.
That's true.
Dude,
Dude, that lady, she once took my order in fluent Spanish. My mind was blown. I was like, bro, like, first of all, like, why are you talking to me in Spanish? I do speak English, but it's pretty impressive that you speak fluent fucking Spanish.
yeah.
Like you're more mad at her not speaking to you in her language, but that she's speaking to you in your language.
Yeah.
Like,
and
wait,
likely better than you.
yeah.
I, I, I sometimes when like I'm a delivery driver, sometimes people receive their packages, and there's been a couple instances where people talk to me in Spanish. They're like, "Oh, amigo, gracias por el
Oh,
paquete."
that are not Mexican.
Yeah, that they're not Mexicans.
Oh,
They've
okay.
been like they've been white, they've been Asian, they've been Indian, like different ethnicities, but they've spoken to me in Spanish. I fuck with them. I'm like, "Excuse me?" They're like, "Oh, gracias por el paquete." I was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't like
Speak Spanish.
I don't understand." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Do you not speak Spanish?" I'm like, "No, like I don't speak Spanish." And they're like, "Oh, my apologies." And I'm like, "Bitches."
That's yeah, dude.
Um
They're imagine they're like, oh, my apologies.
my apologies.
I'll take my present, Elsa, what else Wahuro, right? They just naturally talk all stupid.
Like,
Uh
oh,
yeah, see, like at the end of the day, man, like just treat people
wow, yeah.
like
Don't be weird, dude.
yeah, like just treat people. Look, it's such a foreign thing to me that it's like just treat people normal. Like, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no,
don't overdo it. Like, like if you are inviting someone to a carne asada, and they happen to be like Pakistani, don't fucking bring like don't go out of your way and find food from their place to be like, hey, don't feel left out. You're inviting them to a carne asada to partake in your culture.
yeah,
Just
Exact.
be fucking normal about it.
If I'm going to a family cookout and I know they're serving barbecue, I'm going there expecting to eat barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm not going there to sit down and have tacos de asada while everyone around me eats barbecue because they think I'm gonna, like, they don't want me to feel left out. Like, no, I know what I'm signing up for. If I didn't like barbecue, I would have been like, nah, good,
I
I'm
wouldn't have
good.
shown up. Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone. If you have an Asian homie and you invite him to the carne asada, I'm assuming that you are aware, or at least somewhat aware, of what we're going to be serving. And at the very least, you would like carne asada. If we're going to be saying, "Do you want to go to the carne asada?" We're going to assume that you're down with the system, you're down with the sickness. We're not going to buy you some Happy Walk and be like, "Bro, we got you." Like, no, why would you do that?
That would be so fucked up.
And like the thing is, I think a lot of time the thought is genuine, right? It's like, we don't want you, like, we don't. I think sometimes, not all the time, but I think sometimes it is like it comes from the right place.
Yeah, like
But
most people are like nice. What we're saying is don't be a dumbass. That's it.
yeah, that's it.
It's easy. It's
It's
just
easy.
like I know
If you would,
they're not evil. They're not like doing it. Like again, there might be the outliers that do it on purpose, but like 99.9% of the people don't. But just Don't be weird. It's okay.
If you invite me to a luau, I know that I'm gonna eat one of those pigs that's buried underground.
Yeah.
I know that's what I'm getting myself. I don't want to show up and be like, "Hey guy, hey man, we got you a burrito." Like, no, I don't want that. If I
Give me
wanted
that
that, I wouldn't be here, and I would have gotten a burrito myself.
and get that pig off the floor and fucking serve me that.
Dig that bitch up and let's serve it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. I agreed to it. It's easy, and like I think the language. I personally, even when I worked at the store, I just always assumed English,
Speak English.
right? If they addressed me differently, if they go, "Oiga, hablas español," then we would start the conversation in Spanish.
Yeah.
But I think as much as people are like, some people are iffy on whether or not English is the official language or whatever, dude. Like it's a basis. If you can't speak it, um, all you have to say is, "Do you speak this language?"
Yeah.
I can tell you yes, or I can tell you no. Let me find someone who does.
Yeah,
Easy peasy.
because then there's also people who might not be English speakers, but they want to practice. And so if they come up to you like maybe in their broken English and they're like, "Hello, Mister, I need help," and you hit them like, "Oh, sí, qué onda, compa, cómo está? ¿En qué le puedo ayudar?" Although you speak English, like you're doing them a disservice because now they don't get to practice the language they're trying to learn.
That
So,
was my mom for the longest when she was getting her to be a resident or citizen.
mhm,
For like that whole year, she was like just like trying to practice her English.
yeah,
So everywhere she go, like she will always try to like speak English. And then when they will like talk to her in Spanish, she'll be like, "Oh, fine."
yeah.
But yeah, I can relate to that
Yeah,
because
like
my mom.
my mom, like I text her and I talk to her in English. Like she'll sometimes respond to me in English, but she replies to me in Spanish, but I talk to her in English because she wants to hear it.
That's how I approached it used to at when I worked at the store, and it was always if they wanted me to if they wanted to speak in Spanish, they would just
Yeah,
ask. They would just be like,
yeah,
"Hablas español?" I'll be like, "Sí, easy peasy." Sometimes they wouldn't. I would just be like, "Can I help you?" And they're like, "Yes." Do you know where the jalapenos are? And I'll be like, "Aisle 5." Thank you.
mhm,
Easy. If
Hmm.
there was someone who didn't, well, legit, is all they had to ask. ¿Hablas español? Sí. ¿Dónde están los jalapeños? En el 5.
Dude, my
Boom.
favorite interaction with people at the store would be when they immediately talk Spanish to me. Like where they like most of the time they think I'm a white boy, like who only speak English, won't speak Spanish. But when like they recognize that like somehow I know Spanish, and then they immediately start talking in Spanish to me, and I'm like, oh my god, they don't think I'm like this güero, dude. Oh, I'm one
They,
of my
pro-
people.
they probably heard you say down, and then they were like, they were like, ay, habla español este güey.
Uh, bitch.
That's funny.
um, yeah, the only at the store language wise, it's only a problem when there's no common barriers, and
Ooh,
that could be that could be a
wait,
difficult
I
situation.
I could top you on this. So at Target recently, there was a guest, and I went out to him like, "Hey, so hey, boss, like, do you need any help or anything?" And he didn't respond. So I was like, "Okay, he might speak Spanish." So I was like, "Oiga, lo puedo ayudar con algo?" He didn't respond, and I was like,
Oh
"Wait, what's
no.
happening?" And then I'm assuming his sister or someone came up to me. He's like, "Oh, sorry, he's deaf." And
I know it.
and I was
I
like, no, dude. I've never felt so embarrassed in my life. Like I usually don't get embarrassed for anything just because like I'm always making myself look like a fool. So I put that out there. But like that moment, I've never felt so embarrassed, dude.
That's where you gotta like throw like hit him with the sign
Yeah.
language.
No, but he knew that I couldn't sign. So to like because his sister, he like, oh yeah, he's deaf, he can't speak. But then she went away after. Um, so when I was trying to communicate with him, he pulled out his phone and he just typed everything, and he was like, here. And I was like, okay, thank you,
I would
or
love it.
whatever.
I would love it if you, for let's just say for this scenario, you knew sign language,
Uh huh.
and he was like, right? Oh no, you're
Yeah.
like you could tell that he didn't he couldn't hear. So
Mhm.
you go, can I help you? And then
Yeah.
he signs back, hablas español.
That's not where I thought I was going.
Me
I,
neither.
I, I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go. I'm blind.
Wait. It, it's
I'm assuming they're different languages because I've heard American Sign Language.
oh
So
okay.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
assumed there probably is different languages, but imagine he hit you with that.
I was gonna ask. I thought it was like one language. Like
I
sign
don't know.
yeah.
language is one
Might
like
be.
international thing.
It might be, but I would just love it if he hit you with that.
No, dude. I thought you were going. I thought you were gonna go. I'm blind. So like me signing to him wouldn't matter. Then
I
I
was
was
just
like,
like,
wait. Oh fuck, I'm crying.
Oh my god, dude.
That would be a dick move on him though. What the hell? Man, made me get embarrassed just to get. Oh, fuck, dude.
uh,
Oh yeah,
But
there's different sign languages.
Well, yeah,
That
it will make sense that like Spanish people, like maybe the alphabets might be the same, but maybe different. Like A in English would be this, but like in Spanish, very A might be like a different form.
yeah, that's interesting.
But when that was the day, I don't know if you saw like on Twitter, I was like, fuck, I wish I had the patience to learn sign language. It was because of that fucking moment that happened at Target, dude. I was so embarrassed.
uh, it's great. Dude, just imagine striking out three in a row. You're done, dude. Just clock out.
Go home.
You struck out three times.
Fuck.
Can I help you? Nothing. Just buy you that? Nothing. Can I help you? Nothing.
Hablas español.
uh, dude,
Fuck, dude.
that's fucking gold. Oh,
uh,
damn.
dude. Customer interactions, they can be a headache, but then you just get every once in a while you can get just a golden moment. You
Yeah.
can just get a piece de resistance.
Oh,
Yeah, I both luckily or fortunately and unfortunately don't work in retail. So I keep to myself most of the day. So I think I prefer that because I don't have to deal with anybody. It's just me, myself, and I. And then
Yeah.
if I want to
mhm.
pick up the pace, I pick it up and I'm like moving, like keeping a good fast pace. If I want to chill, if I'm tired that day and I don't my load is not that big, just lay back, cruise around. That's what I really like about this job. But
Dude, you miss out on like good interactions. Like
yeah,
I hate obviously like bad interaction with guests. Like they can annoy you, but when you get like nice, just like genuinely nice people, or like sometimes I get like my favorite is like when like the younger kids come out and they're kind of uh like the thuggy ish kind of ones. Like I always accommodate like my voice to who they're talking. It might be the same way how you're talking about um like if a Chinese or like an Asian guy came in and you gave him Asian food, but when you're at a carne asada, sometimes I don't know if I do this on purpose, but like I have a certain like speaking voice to whoever I speak to. If it's like a dude that comes in, who's like kind of like in a suit or something, I'll talk proper. But
Oh, you're
if it's
code
like a
switching.
kid, yeah, if it's like a kid or something, I'll be kind of like parental and like kind of talk like, hey, bud, do you need anything? But if it's like a kind of like a thuggy kind of guy, I'll be like, yo, what up, bro? How can I help you? So like, I don't know if
Yo,
that's
what
like
up,
a
kid?
bad way to, cause that's a
What
sort
up,
of thing,
code?
right? It's called like coding or something.
Yeah, it's code switching.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
feel like that's kind of the same way with like, cause what if they're well,
how you would speak to like someone in corporate would be different than how you would speak with your friends.
yeah,
And like say with your friends, like how you speak with your, I don't know, like let's say your white friends would be different than how you would speak with your people of your own race or whatever.
yeah,
I think Key and Peele talk about it, how they're like, when we go on interviews, and like let's say we go on like ESPN or whatever, we'll speak a certain way, but put us in a room full of other black people, we speak we'll change it up. We'll speak differently.
Don't go too
You
far,
know, it
bro.
just
Just look at their skit of Obama when they're like, like when he's shaking like all the
oh
white dudes'
yeah,
hands, and then when he
yeah.
gets to the black guys, he's always like, "Hey, what up, man? Hey, hey, don't you ever forget? Don't forget about that. Don't forget." The fucking skit is gold.
Yeah. So I was trying to relate that to what you were saying about the thing, but then I think it kind of won't really relate because the other person talking to you don't know how you actually talk. So the way you're talking to them could be like what they actually perceive you talk to. So I guess it doesn't really
yeah,
relate.
you'll go up to like you'll go up to a fool and you'll be like, "What's going on, my friend?
All right,
What's going
stop
down,
this.
Essay?"
Let's stop this.
You're looking for an iPad Mini?
That's why I don't say that word anymore. Yeah, we have the small iPads over here.
So when they ask you what car do you have, what do you say?
Uh, a tiny
A
Cooper,
coupe,
a little coupe.
a petite Cooper,
Yeah,
A Lil Cooper
a little coupe.
little coupe.
Mini.
Mini. Like today, I was on Discord with like Domo and Lenny and Brandon, and Brandon's like, "Hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna buy some smoothies with my girlfriend." And the whole time I just kept making fun of him, like, "Smoothies? You're gonna get some smoothies with your girlfriends?" But I was like, "Wait, that's how my mom says it. It's smoothies."
It's
But I caught
Moody's.
Brandon like I caught him off guard, dude.
You're like smoothies, smoothies,
Smoothies.
smoothies. Or do you say like a Sprite?
Sorry.
Uh, not that
Sprite.
much anymore.
A
Yeah, I say
Sprite.
I've always been a Sprite guy.
I say a
But
Sprite when I'm talking in Spanish.
Yes.
uh-huh.
Like,
It's interesting, isn't it?
hey, vamos a agarrar un spray. Like,
It feels weird if you did it.
Okay, when you
yeah.
guys talk in English to your guys' parents, would you guys say this might be hard because the other day I caught myself where I was like, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna go buy some hamburgers," or like I try to say hamburgers but with like a Spanish accent. If you get me,
So
like, do you
instead,
ever
you
guys?
combine hamburguesas and hamburgers.
Yeah, but that might be because there is actually like hamburguesas in Spanish, but I forgot what I said, or like it's an English word that's not in Spanish. But I was talking to them in English, but I said that word like kind of like with an accent, so they could like understand
Cheeseburguesas?
it. Stop.
Cheeseburguesas con unos fries?
But never mind. I was gonna say, do you guys like ever catch yourself do something like that?
Like if like instead of saying "Amá, tienes que poner tu password," you would say "Amá, tienes que poner tu password."
But not that extreme.
But I
But yes,
mean something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Like you're not because
Like you add the accents.
mhm. Like you, like okay, it's better if you're saying something in Spanish, but to use like an English word, like "Ma, vas a poner tu password." Like, would you say it like that, or would you say "Ma, vas a poner tu password" or something like
I
keep it
think
in the same in the same cadence
I
as you saying it in Spanish?
I think the tendency is to want to say it with an accent, like
Hmm.
"Hey, ma, vas a poner tu password," but I think I do both. It depends if I catch myself or not, because I would say "Hey, ma, vas a poner tu password," but then I feel like if I don't care or if I'm just trying to get my point across as soon as I can, I'm like "Hey, vas a poner tu password." Like it just really depends. And I
Oh,
think
a good one would be like, "Hey, ma, vamos a ir al party." Like usually we don't say party. I think like
Oh,
al
al
party.
party, al
the
party,
body.
right?
Well, that's just a borrowed word, just like suera.
Or if you're like my cousin, you'll say puri,
Booty.
Yeah, it's just like suera.
al puri,
Hey, no se te
Swear,
olvide ponerte la suera. That's just a borrowed word, like party.
body.
Yeah.
But
party,
you wouldn't say, voy a ir al party.
al party.
No.
I feel because just like especially like R in
Or
English is much more aggressive than it is in Spanish.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Party.
Like in Spanish, you would just say it like just take for example the word camera. It's spelled the same way, but you would say camera. Like it's almost like a
Oh,
glide versus a camera,
it's depending the word though, because you're
huh?
not. It's depending the word because you don't say cigarro. You say cigarro,
No, but I mean
That
the
has two R's. That's a whole different like, thing, no?
but it's still it's still the R sound.
no, but I mean in English, R is
Yeah, yeah. It's always rude.
Okay, I see.
if because like I
Patron.
remember
Patron
I
is with one R.
remember, but I mean like
But
in
the
general, I mean if you emphasize it,
yeah,
sure, but I mean for the most part in Spanish, assuming it's not a double R, the R is generally a lighter
yeah.
Yeah.
sound.
Para. Um.
'Cause even with patron,
Pero
the O is usually like a really strong accented vowel. So I
Patron.
think patron is usually the exception. With
you like
R's
right, you wouldn't say patron, right? Like you wouldn't say it like that.
or
Patron,
patron,
patron, right?
patron.
But like because like in when I was in Mexico, they would be like, say this word in Spanish. I was like, cámara. Can you say it in English? And I'm like, camera. They could not comprehend the
Why?
sound
Oh,
just the R itself. They could not comprehend what I was doing. Like they could not make that. They couldn't understand how I was making that sound.
Camera.
Er,
Cameron. Yeah.
right? Like they were like camera,
mhm.
camera. No, I'm like camera, and they could
And no,
not figure that out.
yeah, because I like that type of like is not really like in Spanish words. Can
Right. So that the concept of baffled them completely.
Have you guys ever seen the video of how English sounds to non-English speakers?
Yes.
And
no.
you, I'll link it to you after this, Yuli. But yeah, it's basically like
How English
it
sounds to non-English.
yeah, if you were to not speak English,
Uh,
that's how you would hear the language, and it's trippy. It's trippy as fuck because it's very accurate, and
so,
that sound is very prominent in that video.
huh.
That it sounds like
Wait,
you're
so in the
swallowing
video,
letters.
are they speaking English or are they speaking like a weird dialect or like a
You'll
weird
hear
like?
you'll hear.
Uh,
It's trippy as
Is
fuck.
is it similar to like if you speak Spanish and you hear people speaking Tagalog and you're like you swear you can understand it, but if
yeah,
you really you're like I don't know what they're saying, but I feel like I know what they're saying.
Yeah, like Portuguese too,
Like
Italian.
you hear bits and pieces,
mm,
Like, because I've heard Portuguese and I know that a lot of the words are similar, but I've never caught on to anything. I'm always like, I have no idea what the fuck you're
I
saying.
I can kind
But
of
I've heard
understand Portuguese.
Tagalog. I've heard Tagalog, and I'm like,
That's a lot.
if I'm just kind of like not paying attention to it, I feel like I know what I'm hearing. But the
Mhm.
moment I pay attention to it, I realize I have no idea what they're saying. But they throw it's because, like, say for example, numbers, their numbers are the exact same.
Mhm.
It's like uno, dos, tres, cuatro. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's just like there's a couple words or a couple sounds that sound familiar. So you're like, do I know what you're saying? I don't think I know what you're. What? Like,
It,
it hurts your brain because you're like, I feel like I should know what you're saying and I don't.
Well, the
yeah,
Philippines were a Spanish colony, right?
that's what I'm
Yeah,
assuming
that's why
where
they
they
have a
got
lot
the
of Latino names.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
the two owners, well, the current owners at the store, they're Filipino and their last name is Cortez, right?
Sweet.
So that's why, like, when you hear their language, it's like I understand, but at the same time I
But
don't.
I don't. So that video will probably be the same as like me trying to understand or hearing like Russian like for the first time, because that like for sure I won't be able to understand anything they're saying.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of droskis,
Yeah,
dro.
because there's
Yeah.
like no really words that like are the same like in English or Spanish or like Asian. Obviously that's not to like Filipino.
Yeah, when you get
Oh
into
yeah,
Asian languages, that's a whole nother ball game. Like there's intonations, there's afflictions, there's like a whole other universe when it comes to Asian
I
languages.
I forgot what language it was. Like, I saw that it was like just imagine like the letters PA, but there was like a bunch of different ways to say that one word. That one fucking, it's not even a word, like a fucking syllable. It was like how you said it was like the difference between saying dad and murder or some shit. Like it was like super drastic. Like I was like,
I think it's Vietnamese.
is it
I
Vietnamese?
think Vietnamese is the hardest language to learn. That and then Mandarin.
I mean, that makes sense because I mean, like say fa. I remember a Vietnamese homie saying it's pronounced fa. Like you have an upward inflection.
Yeah.
Us Westerners would just say fa, or
Yeah.
if you want to make it even worse, you'd say fo,
Yeah.
right? But I remember him telling me, yeah, when you see that little question mark looking symbol over the O, it's an upward inflection.
mm,
But I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's
good.
and
I'm
then
good with syllables.
language also. I think we were having this conversation in private, or I don't remember if it was on the podcast. But also the way that the language works, the way that people speak is very influential into their music. So I have a theory as to why African Americans were very prominent in jazz. Um, and this kind of clicked when I saw the video of the John's barbecue and foot massage video. I don't know if you guys have seen that. John's barbecue and foot massage. Okay, so there's a kid that plays saxophone. He plays the notes that the guy is talking, based on the words. So like, fuck, work brain. So the way that the
like he
guy was talking
transcribed
about,
is
yes, there you go. He transcribed the way he was speaking, right? And then he was also on the corner. He was putting the chord progressions that the guy was speaking in.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was fucking jazz. The way that the guy was speaking was just jazz. So I think that the reason why like African Americans were very prominent in jazz was because it came very natural to them, and they dominated the bebop genre because bebop is just the way they speak. They talk very fast and very like with a lot of spice to the way they speak. And when I saw that video, the John's barbecue and foot massage with the kid playing saxophone next to it, I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Like that's why they dominated jazz. because it's just the way they speak. It's just they're just having a conversation through their instrument.
You should
And
look up a guy named Charles Cornell.
Charles Cornell.
He does that to like he will meme anyone, or he will
Oh
like
yeah, him. Hmm.
he like he puts a soundtrack to like of someone saying something,
Yeah.
but like he actually like makes what they're saying like into a melody.
I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
It's like basically what you're saying.
Yeah. And it's very interesting, like how language kind of dictates um, music in a lot of ways. Um, yeah. Now I'm in my head just thinking of a bunch of shit.
But the way you talk is boring, so you gotta spice it up, dude.
Yeah, like I feel like growing up I had a very lethargic way of speaking, so it kind of translated into my music playing. Um, but then as
That's
I
your way of
So
speaking.
you're like a slow jazz kind of guy,
yeah.
a Blue Moon.
Mm,
And
there you go, dude. And then there's dudes who like I don't think we had any fast speakers
In my friend group,
in jazz. Like overly fast.
like in high school,
Yeah, I don't think we had any like super fast speakers.
uh,
Did we have any super fast players?
No.
I guess that's why.
true.
As far as like horn players, I don't want to toot my horn. No pun intended. But
We all know what it was.
I feel like I might have been the fastest player. The one that like as far as like soloing, the one that could probably play the fastest. Cause I mean like Revenge of the Cow. Like I when I practiced it by myself, I was able to play it at tempo. But then our boy Richard was unable to play it at speed. And
In his defense,
the
Yeah.
trombone. Yeah.
the trombone is
Yeah, I
not
get it.
the
Yeah.
most agile instrument.
But I feel like the fastest play. Oh, actually, you know what? Matt might have been the fastest one, because I think trumpet does allow for faster playing. I don't know. I guess it just depends, because I think you can play fast on saxophone, but you could also play fast on trumpet. But then you could also play fast as shit on piano. It just really depends on the skill level. Um, but yeah, I don't think we had a lot of fast speakers, which might correlate to the playing. I don't know.
You should test the stereo more.
True. I think I think this is
You know what? No, wait. I felt like you were gonna end the podcast.
Yes.
Before you end it,
okay.
I think you have something to that theory. I just remembered. Yuli, didn't Limon always say you solo the same way you speak?
That's why I said where like I speak kind of derpy, so my playing has been kind of derpy.
Because I remember Limon's like, see, look, that fall right there sounds like you. Sounds like you're speak. Meh, meh.
Oh
That sound,
yeah.
I remember that part. Where he's like, your soloing just sounds like you speaking. Like the way you speak is the way you're playing right now. Just real. Meh, meh. Instead of like say a fall, instead of like, ah! Like he's like you just go, meh, and then you'd be like, meh,
Wow. Just
yeah,
louder.
meow, meow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hard.
that's why I think you might have something to that.
And
And I've told you this before, in your singing and in your rapping, it's very much still Yuli. Like you don't change your voice. Like so, for example, the homie Blake, the way he speaks versus the way he raps are two very different people. The way Yuli speaks and the way Yuli raps, and hell, the way Yuli sings, it's all Yuli. I can 100% tell that it is you, and I can tell how you sound, and like all your just like your pronunciations or the way your cadences
My
all
isms.
translate. Yeah, it all translates. It all like I can close my eyes and I can hear you like playing trombone, and I could probably tell that it was you.
At
Thank
least you
you.
can say.
I can see Man Bun Yuli in full effect.
Yeah, we don't speak in man bun
I
usually.
think I think you could at least say that Yuli stays authentic.
Thank you, God.
Yeah.
I'm unique. I'm one of a kind, dude. I don't try to replicate. I'm I am I am one.
So now I wonder if playing and speaking, since now we've kind of made a correlation to the both, right? I wonder if those are tied of how fast you can process information.
You call
Therefore,
me dumb?
therefore you speak very quickly. I'm not calling you dumb.
Know what I'm hearing?
I'm just saying that your speech is capped by the the like by the speed your brain is able to process information. Because think of auctioneers. Auctioneers need to
Oh,
be able to. Auctioneers need to be able to to fucking process information like this. Therefore, they speak very very fucking quickly. Like certain politicians, like certain activists, they're they can they can fabricate an argument in seconds and at the same time speak very 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 fastly. Example: Ben Shapiro. That man talks at fucking 300 BPM, and at the same time, when he gets retaliation to an argument, he's able to make a counter argument just as fast. So maybe with playing, with soloing, because you do have to follow chord progressions, the faster you process those chord progressions is like this. As fast as you process the chord progressions is as fast as you're gonna be able to solo.
but then again, I think all this can be like sped up. So like there is a way to or to better at it. So I think your theory is like the foundation.
Yeah,
Like I think it does correlate. I'm with you, but then I don't think that's like the end
yeah,
because I think people can like get better
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
get up to speed.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
we're off something. We're gonna make a scientific breakthrough.
we're all
We're gonna be the
scientists.
we're gonna be the next hmm,
All
Stephen Hawking.
babies are scientists. If because think about it, babies are like the like science. Being a scientist is like the earliest hobby of a human. Why? Because scientists they test things out, right? What do babies do? Oh, what happens if I do this? Oh, this happens. Okay, what happens if I push it further? Oh, okay, this happens. What if I push it harder? Oh shit, I got hurt. Okay, I'm not gonna do it that hard. This is the limit. Now they did a small version of the scientific method where they learn that if they did certain something a certain way they get hurt as opposed to if they do it a different way.
I am familiar with the scientific method.
Are you?
What's that meme? Yes, you are so why are you so wise in the methods of science? I think it's a meme that's going around.
Mm,
There you go, Yuli the scholar.
look at us.
Babies invented the scientific method and the absence of time.
True. Oh yeah, dang. Funny how it all comes back in full circle.
I
That's
guess.
why they got rid of the store. Babies are us, dude. Think about it.
We are babies. Dang, just think about that.
We are babies. I mean, as a society, we're a bunch of fucking babies.
True.
Look at that, dude.
That's too philosophical, dude. They're not gonna understand the concept of we are babies.
Oh, dude.
That's why they dumbed it down to babies are us.
So in reality, toys are not. And toys are us. We are toys
Dang. We are
for
the.
the
Well,
government.
because we're
Ooh,
always
the
getting played
plot
with, dude.
thickens.
We
Well,
are
we're,
toys for the government, bro.
yeah, because we're always getting played, dude.
What was
Let's
that
go.
meme? Someone posted on Twitter that I want to be turned into a vinyl when I'm dead so they can play me one last time. That's us, dude.
Oh, dude.
Look
Uh,
at us, dude.
And I think with our latest revelations, our latest scientific findings, is a good place to end it. We've been at it for 2 hours and 20 minutes. We did say we were gonna make this one a little longer than the last one, so we
Tis true.
we we
Tis
have we
true.
have delivered. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, share it if you feel so inclined. Leave us a comment as to why you hated the podcast. You
Mhm.
can find us on our socials at JZ for myself, King underscore Yuli for Yuli, no soul double underscore for Noe. You can find the Better Things to Do Twitter and Instagram at got BTTD. And we'll catch you next week.
Let's go.
Bye bye. All right.
All right.
One more in the books.
Look at us, dude. Was this when are we hitting 30?
Oh, Mono makes an appearance for the
Oh my god.
bloopers.
It's the dawn, dude.
The Don, the CEO and owner of Mono Records.
Hello, sir. Don't look him in the eye.
Don't
Hello,
look at
sir.
him in the eye. Bye bye.